for operating in 4 different markets, I was only doing $50,000 to $60,000 a month, which is not that much if you're operating in 4 markets and you've got a team of 14 people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of mouths to feed for only making 50 to 60K per month. So I reached another breaking point in my business. I reached another breaking point, and that breaking point was, I can't continue to operate like this. I've got to make some kind of change if I'm going to survive in business, because I was like, I honestly, I was in debt. I had accumulated about $100,000 in debt to be able to expand this rapidly. And it was just a completely unhealthy approach to scaling. And so because I was in the fitness space before and I was doing some online fitness stuff, I was pretty familiar with some high level marketing consultants. And one of the top marketing consultants that I knew of, his name was Frank Kern. And some of you may be familiar with Frank. Frank's literally one of the top marketing consultants, strategists in the nation. People just saw in the mastermind that I had a team of 14 people and I was in 4 different markets. They were like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And then, but they didn't really see the intricacies of my business. So I ended up hiring Frank Kern. It was the largest investment for me at the time. I ended up paying $40,000 to get mentored by Frank Kern. And it was at a time where I was completely stressed out. It was a significant investment. It was scary. I was super nervous about it. But on the very first phone call that I had with him, I got my money's worth out of that investment, because I got on that very first phone call with Frank, and he started looking at all the details of my business, I had this massive team. I had this, I was in 4 different markets, and he started looking at all the details, and he was like, James, I'm going to tell you something that changed my life and that changed the way that I operate in business. He said, there's 3 stages to business growth that I always follow. 3 stages to business growth that I always follow. And he said, every time I follow this process, when I'm growing anything, he said, every time I follow it, it works out. And he said, every time I violate this process, it doesn't work out. And he said, I'm going to tell you this to help you understand why you're in the position that you are right now in your business. And he said the 3 stages of business growth are: number 1, stabilize; number 2, optimize; and then number 3, expand. And he said, when I follow this sequence, every single time it works out. And he said, when I violate this sequence, it never works out. And so right when he said that, I knew what my issue was. I completely violated that sequence. I was a little bit stable, and then I went straight into expansion and was not really optimizing anything. And so right after that conversation, we came up with a game plan, and he definitely helped. He laid out a marketing plan for us, but he also helped with the business and laid out a business game plan where basically over the span of 2 weeks, and he didn't tell me everything to do. It's just by all of the advice that he gave me, came to the conclusion over a span of 2 weeks, I cut my team from 14 people down to 6 and went from 4 markets down to 1. And here's what happened when I did that. And this is why, after 1 phone call, I got my value's worth. I got my money's worth out of that investment with 1 phone call with this person. This is what I'm looking into a coach right now who charges $3,000 for a 30-minute phone call with him. $3,000 for a 30-minute phone call. It's insane. And it's just somebody I'm looking at right now. What happened over the next 5 months, I was doing $50,000 to $60,000 a month. Over the next 5 months, right after I made this change, I did $720,000 in my business. And then over the next 6 months after that, did another $1 million in my business. Guys, I'm still reaping benefits. I'm still today reaping the benefits. I've never done less than $100,000 since I made that investment. Never done less than $100,000. So part of our growth process, and one of the reasons why I was able to see such a drastic difference is because I got to learn how an 8-figure person thinks. I got to learn how an 8-figure person thinks, how they look at business, how they look at marketing, how they think about growth and scaling. And it's completely revolutionized my life since then. Now, over the last 3 years, I've built 2 multiple 7-figure businesses, and am well on our way to do 8 figures as well.